Have you ever allowed a malicious comment, a rude gesture, or a moment of frustration to completely ruin your day? Imagine the following. You are calm, centered, and completely unshakable no matter what anyone throws your way. Does it seem impossible? It's not. Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, believed that true emotional freedom comes from mastering our inner world, not from allowing others to control it. In this video, we'll dive into Jung's timeless wisdom to reveal 6 transformative lessons that will help you stay calm, confident, and in control, even in the most irritating situations. You will learn to face your shadow, tame your anger, set boundaries to protect your peace, and let go of what holds you back. All of this is based on the psychology of self-knowledge of Carl Jung. By the end, you'll have practical tools to stop reacting impulsively and start living with an unshakable inner strength, ready to unlock the secret to never being bothered again. Click the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's embark on this journey to emotional freedom together. Stay with us. This will change the way you see yourself and the world. What if the anger you feel isn't really about the rude coworker, the impatient driver, or that sarcastic comment online? What if it's about something deeper, something inside you? Carl Jung, the pioneer of analytical psychology, taught us that our strongest emotions, like anger, often arise from what he called the shadow, the hidden part of ourselves that we don't want to face. The shadow holds our repressed feelings, insecurities, and unresolved wounds. When someone provokes us, it's not just their words or actions, it's our shadow reacting. In this chapter, we'll explore how facing your shadow can help you tame your anger and reclaim your emotional freedom. Let's start with a story. Meet Sarah, a 32-year-old marketing manager who is passionate about her work. One day, during a team meeting, her colleague Tom interrupts her presentation with a dismissive comment. "That idea has been done before, Sarah. Let's move on." The room falls silent. Sarah feels her face flush, her heart race, and a wave of anger rises within her. She wants to fight back, defend her idea, prove Tom wrong, but instead of reacting, she pauses. Why does this hurt so much? Why does Tom's comment make her feel small? That's when Sarah realizes it's not just about Tom. It's about her shadow, the part of her that fears being ignored, the part that links her worth to the approval of others. Carl Jung believed that our shadow is not just a problem, it's a teacher. The anger we feel when we're provoked often points to something we've buried, an insecurity, a past hurt, or a belief we haven't examined. When we ignore the shadow, it controls us, turning small offenses into emotional outbursts. But when we face it, we take back our power. For Sarah, facing her shadow meant asking herself, why does Tom's contempt hit me so hard? Through reflection, she discovered a deeper fear, the worry that her ideas and by extension her worth weren't good enough. By acknowledging this, she not only dissipated her anger toward Tom, she began to heal a part of herself that she had ignored for years. So, how can you face your shadow to tame your anger? It starts with self-awareness. Carl Jung called this process making the unconscious conscious. When someone or something provokes you, it's like a spotlight illuminating your shadow. Instead of lashing out or suppressing it, pause and look inward. What's really going on? Is this anger about the situation, or is it tied to something deeper, a fear, a memory, or an unmet need? This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about understanding yourself. As Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Let's break this down with a practical example. Imagine you're driving to work and someone cuts you off in traffic. Your first instinct is to honk, yell, or let the frustration ruin your morning. But what if you paused and asked, what is this anger really about? Maybe it's not just the driver. Maybe it's the stress of a tight deadline or a deeper fear of not being in control. By naming the emotion and investigating its roots, you weaken its power. You're not suppressing your anger, you are understanding it, which is the first step to taming it. Here's a simple technique to start facing your shadow. The shadow journal. The next time you feel angry or provoked, grab a notebook or your phone and write down 3 things. What happened? Describe the situation briefly. Who or what provoked you? What am I feeling? Name the emotion, anger, hurt, embarrassment, and rate its intensity from 1 to 10. What's underneath it? Ask yourself, what does this remind me of? Is there a deeper fear or belief at play? Be honest, even if it's uncomfortable. For example, Sarah used this technique after the meeting with Tom. She wrote, Tom devalued my idea. I felt angry and humiliated, an 8 out of 10. Underneath it, I'm afraid I'm not good enough. And his comment reminded me of being ignored as a child. By naming these feelings, Sarah saw her anger for what it was, a signal from her shadow, not a reflection of her worth. This gave her the clarity to respond calmly in the meeting, addressing Tom's criticism without letting it destabilize her. Facing your shadow isn't easy. It requires the courage to look at the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. But here's the reward. Every time you do it, you weaken the triggers that control you. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with intention. As Carl Jung said, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. The rude colleague, the impatient driver, the sarcastic comment. They lose their power when you understand that your anger is a doorway to self-knowledge. So, the next time you feel that heat rising, don't push it away or let it consume you. Pause and ask yourself, what is my shadow trying to teach me? By facing it, you're not just taming your anger. You're unlocking a deeper connection with yourself. And that's where true emotional freedom begins. What is a trigger you've noticed lately? Let us know in the comments below. We're all on this journey together. Have you ever felt your blood boil over something someone said or did, only to realize later that you could have handled it differently? Here's a powerful truth that Carl Jung's psychology reveals. Between every trigger and your reaction, there is a space, a moment where you have the power to choose. That space is your freedom. All too often, we allow the words or actions of others to write the story of how we feel. But what if you could take the pen back? In this chapter, we'll explore how to use this space to choose your response, instead of letting someone else's narrative control your emotions. Carl Jung's work teaches us that our reactions are shaped by our inner world, our unconscious beliefs, fears, and desires. When someone pushes your buttons, it's tempting to think that they made you angry. But Jung would argue that they are just the spark. The fire comes from within. The good news is that you can choose how that fire burns, or if it burns at all. By stepping into that space between stimulus and response, you can align your actions with your values, not with someone else's story. Let's dive into a real-life example. Meet Joan, a 28-year-old graphic designer who has always been close to his childhood friend, Miguel. One evening, during a get-together, Miguel makes a cutting remark. "Are you still doing those artistic projects? When are you going to get a real job?" Joan feels a surge of anger and betrayal. His first instinct is to retaliate, to defend his career and passion. But instead, he takes a deep breath and pauses. In that moment, he asks himself, "Why is this hitting me so hard? Is this about Miguel or something deeper?" Joan realizes that Miguel's comment isn't about his work. It's about Miguel's own insecurities with his corporate job. By choosing not to react, Joan avoids a pointless argument and maintains his peace. This idea of a space isn't new. Carl Jung drew inspiration from thinkers like Viktor Frankl, who famously said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." For Jung, this space is where self-awareness meets action. It's where you decide whether you'll let someone's negativity pull you into their narrative or if you'll stay anchored in your own truth. So, how do you master this space in your daily life? It starts with a simple and powerful technique, the 3-second pause. The next time you feel provoked, whether by a rude comment, a dismissive gesture, or unfair criticism, try this. Stop. Pause for 3 seconds. Take a slow, deep breath to interrupt the automatic reaction cycle. Reflect. Ask yourself, what's really happening here? Is this about them, or is it touching on something in me? This connects you to your inner world, as Carl Jung would encourage. Choose. Decide how you want to respond based on your values, not the heat of the moment. Do you want to escalate the situation, walk away, or respond calmly? Let's see this in action. Imagine you're at a family dinner and your uncle makes a sarcastic comment about your life choices. "You're always traveling, aren't you? Ever think about settling down?" Your instinct might be to argue or feel judged, but try the 3-second pause. Breathe. Reflect. Is this about my life, or is my uncle projecting his own regrets? Then choose. Maybe you say, "I love exploring new places. It's what fuels me," and change the subject. Or maybe you just smile and let it go. Either way, you're in control, not your uncle's narrative. This technique isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about giving yourself the space to feel, understand, and then act intentionally. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, becoming your true self, depends on this kind of conscious choice. When you react impulsively, you're letting someone else's story dictate your emotions. But when you pause and choose, you're writing your own. Here's another example to drive the point home. Lisa, a high school teacher, receives an email from a parent accusing her of being too harsh on their child. Her first reaction is defensiveness. She works hard to be fair, but she uses the 3-second pause. She breathes, reflects, and realizes the parent's anger might stem from their own stress, not her teaching. Instead of firing off a defensive reply, she responds calmly, I appreciate your feedback. Let's discuss how we can support your child together. This not only de-escalates the tension, but also keeps Lisa anchored in her values as an educator. The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity. You don't need to be a Zen master or a Jungian scholar to do this. You just need 3 seconds and the courage to choose your response. Over time, this practice rewires how you handle triggers: the rude coworker, the judgmental friend, the stranger who cuts you off in traffic. They stop having power over you. As Carl Jung might say, you are no longer a puppet of your unconscious reactions. You are the one pulling the strings. So, the next time someone tries to pull you into their drama, remember, you have a choice. Pause, reflect, choose. That's where your power lies. What was a moment when you could have used the 3-second pause? Share in the comments. We're all learning together. Have you ever felt drained by other people's demands, like you're constantly saying yes when you want to say no? Carl Jung taught us that true inner peace comes from a process called individuation, becoming your authentic self, honoring your needs and values. A critical part of this journey is setting boundaries. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting your energy so you can show up as your best self. In this chapter, we'll explore how setting clear, intentional boundaries can protect your peace from external chaos and help you remain unbothered no matter what others throw your way. Carl Jung believed that to become whole, we must differentiate ourselves from the expectations and influences of others. Without boundaries, you risk getting lost in their demands, moods, or negativity. Think of boundaries as a fence around your inner garden. They don't block the sunlight, but they keep out what doesn't belong. When you set a boundary, you're telling the world, my peace matters and I choose to protect it. This isn't selfishness. It's essential for living a life aligned with your true self. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Mia, a 35-year-old single mother and small business owner. Mia's friends often call her late at night, venting about their problems or asking for favors. She loves being there for them, but these calls leave her exhausted, affecting her sleep and time with her daughter. One night, her friend Lisa calls at 10 p.m., upset about a work issue. Mia feels the familiar pull of obligation, but she pauses. She realizes she's been saying yes to everyone else at the cost of her own energy. Instead of answering, she sends a text. I care about you, Lisa, but I need to reserve my evenings for my family. Can we talk tomorrow? Lisa understands, and Mia feels a weight lift off her shoulders. She protected her peace without losing a friendship. This is what Jung's individuation looks like in action. Choosing yourself without guilt. Boundaries don't mean you stop caring about others. They mean you care enough about yourself to show up fully for the relationships and responsibilities that matter most. Without them, you're like a house with no doors, open to every intrusion, unable to rest. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Boundaries are how you claim that privilege. So, how do you start setting boundaries to protect your inner peace? It's not about building walls or being confrontational. It's about clear, kind communication rooted in self-respect. Here's a practical technique: the boundary plan. Follow these 3 steps the next time you feel overwhelmed by someone's demands. Identify your limit. Ask yourself, what is draining me right now? What do I need to protect my energy? Be specific. Maybe it's saying no to last-minute requests or limiting time with a negative person. Communicate clearly. Use I statements to express your boundary without blaming others. For example, I need quiet time after work to recharge. That's why I can't take calls in the evening. Stay consistent. Uphold your boundary, even if it's uncomfortable at first. Consistency shows others you're serious and helps you build self-trust. Let's see this in another scenario. Imagine you're at work and a colleague keeps passing extra tasks to you, assuming you'll pick up the slack. You're frustrated, but don't want to seem uncooperative. Using the boundary plan, you first identify your limit. I can't keep taking on extra work without sacrificing my own priorities. Next, you communicate clearly. I'm happy to help when I can, but I need to focus on my current projects this week. Finally, you maintain it, politely declining future requests that cross that line. This not only protects your time, but signals to others that your energy is valuable. Setting boundaries can feel scary, especially if you're used to pleasing others. You might worry about seeming selfish or hurting feelings. But here's the truth. People respect you more when you respect yourself. And for those who don't, their reaction says more about them than it does about you. Carl Jung's Individuation reminds us that your peace is sacred. It's the foundation of your growth. The power of boundaries lies in their ability to free you from resentment and burnout. They allow you to say yes to what aligns with your values and no to what doesn't, without guilt. By setting boundaries, you're not just protecting your peace, you're honoring the unique self that Jung believed you were meant to become. What is one boundary you're ready to set this week? Share in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to protect our peace. Has harsh criticism ever left you feeling defensive, angry, or even worthless? It's natural to react when someone points out your flaws. But what if criticism wasn't an attack, but a mirror reflecting parts of yourself you haven't fully explored? Carl Jung's psychology teaches us that criticism, when approached with curiosity, can become a powerful tool for growth. Through the lens of Jung's concept of the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we deny, criticism can reveal truths that guide us toward individuation, the process of becoming our true selves. In this chapter, we'll explore how to reframe criticism to tame your emotional triggers and unlock deeper self-awareness. Carl Jung believed that our reactions to criticism often stem from our shadow, the fears, insecurities, or unrecognized traits we push away. When someone criticizes you, it's as if they're holding up a mirror to a part of your shadow you haven't faced. The sting you feel isn't just about their words, it's about what those words touch inside of you. By reframing criticism as a chance to explore your shadow, you transform it from a source of anger into a stepping stone for personal growth. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Alex, a 30-year-old software developer who poured his heart into a new project at work. During a review, his manager says, "This code is sloppy, Alex. You need to step it up." Alex feels a surge of anger and embarrassment. His first instinct is to argue or sulk, thinking, "How dare she call my work sloppy?" But instead, he pauses and reflects through a Jungian lens. Why does this criticism hurt so much? Is there any truth to it? Digging deeper, Alex realizes the comment hits him because it echoes a fear in his shadow. The worry that he's not as competent as he'd like to be. Instead of lashing out, he asks his manager for specific feedback, uses it to improve his code, and feels more confident in his abilities. By facing his shadow, Alex transforms criticism into growth. This approach aligns with Jung's idea that everything we encounter, even negativity, can serve our journey toward wholeness. Criticism doesn't define your worth. It's an invitation to look within. As Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The key is to separate the emotion of the criticism from the lesson it may hold. Not all criticism is valid, but even poorly delivered feedback can reveal something valuable if you're willing to look. So, how can you reframe criticism through the lens of Carl Jung? Try this practical technique, the criticism filter. The next time you receive feedback that stings, follow these 3 steps. Pause and breathe. When the criticism comes, take a deep breath to avoid reacting impulsively. This creates space to process the feedback calmly. Separate fact from opinion. Ask yourself, is there any truth in this criticism, or is it just their perspective? Break the feedback into parts. What's factual, what's subjective, and what's emotional. Explore your shadow. Reflect on why the criticism bothers you. Does it touch on a hidden insecurity or fear? Journaling can help. Write down, what does this feedback remind me of? Is my reaction about them or about me? Let's see this in action. Imagine you're at a family gathering and your aunt says, "You're always so busy with work, you never have time for family." Your instinct might be to fight back or feel guilty, but apply the criticism filter. Pause and breathe. Separate fact from opinion. It's true, I have been busy, but her tone feels judgmental. Then explore your shadow. Why does this hurt? Am I afraid I'm failing as a family member? Reflecting, you might realize her comment touched on a deeper guilt about balancing work and family. Instead of arguing, you could respond, "I understand, Aunt Linda. I'm working on finding more balance." This keeps the peace and helps you grow. Reframing criticism isn't about ignoring your feelings or accepting every critique as truth. It's about using Jung's wisdom to see feedback as a tool for self-knowledge. Some criticism will be unfair or malicious. Let it go. But when there's a grain of truth, it's a chance to become stronger. By viewing criticism through the lens of Carl Jung, you stop letting it trigger anger or self-criticism. Instead, you use it to illuminate your shadow, moving you closer to the authentic self he believed you were meant to become. So, the next time criticism stings, pause and ask, what can this teach me about myself? Use the criticism filter to turn feedback into fuel for growth. Have you ever held on to anger or resentment so tightly that it felt like a weight dragging you down? Maybe it's a grudge against someone who wronged you, a regret you can't shake, or a moment of frustration you keep replaying. Carl Jung's psychology teaches us that letting go is not just about releasing the past. It's a vital step in individuation, the journey to becoming your true, authentic self. By letting go of what no longer serves you, You free your soul from emotional burdens and reclaim the peace that others cannot take away. In this chapter, we'll explore how to master the art of letting go to free your soul and remain unbothered. Carl Jung believed that holding on to anger or resentment keeps us tethered to our shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves that we haven't fully integrated. These emotions act like chains, binding us to moments or people we cannot control. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring what happened or excusing someone's behavior. It means choosing to release the emotional grip it has on you. As Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." By letting go, you're not giving up. You're choosing freedom over suffering. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Emma, a 29-year-old graphic artist who was betrayed by her best friend, Clara. 2 years ago, Clara spread rumors about Emma at work, costing her a promotion. For months, Emma replayed the betrayal, imagining confrontations or revenge. The anger consumed her, affecting her creativity and joy. One day, inspired by Jung's teachings, Emma decided to face her shadow and let go. She realized her resentment wasn't hurting Clara. It was hurting herself. Using a visualization technique, Emma imagined her anger as a heavy stone she was carrying. She pictured herself setting it down and walking away. This act of letting go didn't erase the betrayal, but it freed Emma to focus on her art and rebuild her confidence. Letting go is powerful because it shifts your energy from the past to the present. Jung's concept of individuation emphasizes living in alignment with your true self, and you can't do that if you're anchored to old wounds. As the saying goes, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. When you let go, you're not forgiving for their sake. You're setting yourself free for your own. So, how can you practice letting go to free your soul? Here's a practical technique: the release ritual. The next time you feel weighed down by anger, resentment, or regret, try these 3 steps. Acknowledge the emotion. Name what you're feeling without judgment. Write down, "I am angry because," or "I am hurt because." This brings the emotion from your shadow into your awareness. Visualize the release. Close your eyes and imagine the emotion as an object, a stone, a balloon, or a hot coal. Picture yourself letting it go, allowing it to float away or dissolve. This taps into Jung's use of active imagination to process unconscious feelings. Refocus on the present. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to honor my true self? Shift your energy to something that aligns with your values, like creating, connecting, or resting. Let's see this in action. Imagine you're upset because a coworker took credit for your idea during a meeting. You feel cheated and keep replaying the moment. Instead of stewing, try the release ritual. Acknowledge, "I am angry because my idea was stolen." Visualize. Imagine your anger as a balloon tied to your wrist. Picture cutting the string and watching it float away. Refocus. Decide to share your next idea directly with your boss, or focus on a new project that excites you. This doesn't undo what happened, but it frees you from letting their actions control your peace. Letting go is a practice, not a one-time event. It takes courage to release what's familiar, even if it's painful. But each time you do, You move closer to the person Carl Jung believed you were meant to be, free from the weight of the past. As you release anger or resentment, you create space for joy, creativity, and peace. What is one thing you are ready to let go of today? Share in the comments below. Let's support each other in finding freedom. What if the secret to staying calm in the face of frustration was as simple as shifting your focus? Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting, and anger starts to bubble up. Now, imagine turning that moment around by finding something, anything, to be grateful for. Carl Jung's psychology teaches us that cultivating gratitude can balance the conscious and unconscious mind, creating a harmony that helps you rise above external triggers. In this final chapter, we'll explore how gratitude can transform your mind, dissolve anger, and keep you grounded, no matter what life throws at you. Carl Jung believed that our emotions, like anger, often arise when our conscious mind is out of sync with our unconscious. When we focus only on what's wrong, the rude comment, the unfair situation, or the annoying delay, we feed the negative energy in our shadow. Gratitude, however, acts as a bridge, reconnecting us to the present and reminding us of the good that exists even in difficult moments. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to see the bigger picture. As Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Gratitude helps you bring light to your inner world, turning chaos into calm. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet David, a 40-year-old delivery driver having a rough day. A customer yelled at him over a late delivery, traffic was a nightmare, and his phone died, leaving him disconnected. David felt his frustration mounting, ready to boil over, but then he paused and tried something different. He thought, "What can I be grateful for right now?" He realized he was grateful for his job, which supported his family, for the music on the radio, which lifted his mood, and for the fact that tomorrow would be a new day. This simple shift didn't erase the day's challenges, but it melted away his anger, leaving him calmer and more centered. Gratitude is powerful because it rewires how you see the world. Jung's idea of balancing the conscious and unconscious suggests that focusing on what's positive helps integrate the shadow, reducing the intensity of negative emotions. As the philosopher Cicero said, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others. By practicing gratitude, you're not just calming your mind. You're building resilience to face life's ups and downs without getting shaken. So, how can you cultivate gratitude to transform your mind? Try this practical technique, the gratitude reset. The next time you feel anger or frustration creeping in, follow these 3 steps. Pause and notice. Stop and name the emotion you're feeling. Acknowledge it without judgment. I am angry because, or I am frustrated because. Find 3 things. Identify 3 things you're grateful for in that moment, no matter how small. It could be your health, a kind gesture, or even the fact that you're alive to experience the day. Reframe the moment. Ask yourself, how can I see this situation differently? Use gratitude to shift your perspective, focusing on what's still good instead of what's going wrong. Let's see this in action. Imagine you're at work and a colleague snaps at you during a stressful project. Can't you do anything right? Your instinct is to retaliate or ruminate. Instead, try the gratitude reset. Pause and notice, I'm angry because I was disrespected. Find three things. I'm grateful for my job, for my teammate who helped me earlier, and for the coffee that's keeping me going. Reframe. Maybe they're just stressed, not personally attacking me. I can choose to stay calm and focus on my work. This shift doesn't excuse their behavior, but it keeps your peace intact. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what uplifts you, even in the messiest moments. Jung's teachings remind us that true transformation comes from integrating all parts of ourselves, light and shadow. By practicing gratitude, you're not just dissolving anger, you're creating an unshakable mindset. So, the next time you feel anger taking over, pause and ask, what can I be grateful for right now? Try the gratitude reset and watch how it transforms your perspective. You'll discover that peace isn't something you chase. It's something you create. What is one thing you are grateful for today? Share in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to transform our minds. You've just taken a powerful journey through the wisdom of Carl Jung to master your emotions and reclaim your inner peace. From facing your shadow to tame your anger, setting boundaries to protect your energy, reframing criticism as a tool for growth, letting go of what weighs you down, to cultivating gratitude to transform your mind. This is more than just a guide on how not to be bothered. It's a map to individuation, Jung's vision of becoming the truest, most authentic version of yourself. Every step you take to pause, reflect, and choose your response is a step toward a life where no one else can steal your peace. Think about it. The rude coworker, the judgmental friend, the frustrating stranger. They don't hold the keys to your emotions. You do. Carl Jung taught us that true freedom comes from within, from understanding and integrating every part of ourselves, light and shadow, strength and vulnerability. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you're not just surviving life's challenges. You are thriving through them. You are writing your own story, one where you are unshakable, centered, and free. So, what's next? Take these lessons into your life. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, pause and ask, what is my shadow teaching me? How can I choose my response? Use the tools we've shared, the shadow journal, the 3-second pause, the boundary plan, the criticism filter, the release ritual, and the gratitude reset to build a life where your peace is untouchable. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. This is your moment to claim that privilege. Now, let's turn this into a movement. If Jung's wisdom has inspired you to take control of your emotions, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to join our community. We're here to dive deeper into the psychology of self-knowledge, and we don't want you to miss any insights. Share this video with someone who needs a little more peace in their life. A friend, a family member, or even a coworker who could use a nudge toward emotional freedom. Like this video to help us spread the timeless wisdom of Carl Jung to more people. And most importantly, leave a comment below. What's one trigger you're ready to let go of today? Or a time when you chose peace over anger? Your story might inspire someone else on this journey. Thank you for joining us on this transformative path. Your emotions don't control you, you control them. Keep investing in yourself, keep exploring your inner world, and keep choosing peace. This is just the beginning. Until next time, stay grounded, stay authentic, and stay unbothered.